Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shukran so much for joining us on Channel 347, also on our live stream, www.hilaal.tv. We've just come off, celebrated our Eid. We've had various projects around the country, around the world, that got involved in Qurbani. And one such organization based here in the Western Cape and in South Africa, Awqaf SA. We've had them in on many occasions chatting about the great work that they do in our community. And I'm now chatting to CEO of Awqaf, Mickaeel Collier. Assalamu alaikum, Mickaeel.
Alaikum
Welcome.
salam. Thank you for having us again.
My pleasure. Always nice having you in studio. Good catch up about the great work that you guys are doing. Qurbani is one of those projects that you guys proactively get involved and ensure that the communities are taken care of in the process as well. Now, you've got something called Share the Care Qurbani. I thought, that is amazing. That sounds different. Tell us more. How did this project come together?
So, I think for the past 12 years, we've been partnering with the Turkish Diyanet Foundation, or Turkish Religious Authority. And they do Qurbani in about 80 or 90 countries around the world.
Wow.
And year on year, we've been partnering with them. This year, we partnered with them in quite a few Southern African countries, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, and about 65 other centers in South Africa itself.
Right.
So we've slaughtered this year about 600 cattle,
Wow.
totaling about 124 tons of meat,
Sure.
with a distribution to about 50,000 families. And if you calculate, there's about 5 people in a family, looking about close to an impact of about 200,000 people who would have access to meat over this particular period of Qurbani. So it's a great partnership. It's a great initiative. And what's more important is that it's fulfilling the sunnah of Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam. And we all know the story surrounding Eid al-Adha at least, and the fact that there was a slaughter or a sacrifice that was supposed to take place.
Yes.
And at that moment when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed Nabi Ibrahim to slaughter his son, he actually reached the height of perfection in faith that any human being could potentially reach, in that he was prepared to sacrifice that which was the most beloved to him in order to fulfill his obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then you've got the reciprocation of the son that's also in partnership with his father in that form of obedience. And therefore the Qurbani symbolizes not only the slaughtering of an animal or the distribution of meat, but I think it's a recognition and a time for each one of us to reflect as to what our greatest sacrifices should be, what the deficiencies in our character is that we need to sacrifice, what we need to give away in order to reach that epitome of the connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore, following in that footsteps, we call it the Share the Care Qurbani campaign, following the footsteps of Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam, because each of the donors that have contributed to this, and we thank our Turkish brothers and sisters who for the past 11 and 12 years have supported our region through this particular Qurbani. It's just amazing to see the joy that it brings to people who ordinarily don't have meat.
I would imagine with a mammoth task like this, that other organizations tend to want to jump on board on this project and assist where possible. Do you find, or have you partnered with other organizations during this project?
So one of the biggest mottos and our ethos within Awqaf South Africa is to the Quranic ayah that says cooperate in righteousness and piety. So we don't duplicate work. We cooperate. We work with existing institutions who are on the ground, and we capacitate institutions in order to get the community projects on the go. So we've partnered with a host of different organizations locally in South Africa, in Mozambique and Namibia as well. The Imam Development Program, the IDP, Mercy Mission, a few others in Kimberley, the Galasheva Muslim Association, and in Mozambique, we partnered with an institution that we are very close to, OMID.
Right.
So we work in partnership in order to get maximum reach to the communities.
Inshallah. As much as the big difference that you're making, I'm sure the need is always there and it grows, and you would like to get to all corners of South Africa and Africa in the process. What's the next step? Obviously, this campaign project was really successful. I would imagine that you would need to grow it and want to grow it.
No, sure. So just to take a step back, the project itself is it's a mammoth task to move to identify 600 cattle. Firstly, fulfilling the Islamic requirements of the slaughter, ensuring that the animal is healthy, getting
Yes.
it to the slaughter facilities, to the abattoirs, and then having vets pre-check the animals and also
Yes.
check the dead carcasses, and thereafter cut up cold storage, distribution, cold trucks, and distribute within 3 to 5 days. It's a mammoth task
Of course.
to reach 200,000 people. And I can only personally thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the guidance and the energy and the strength, but also to an amazing team that does the work on the ground. And we really reach communities far and wide. And really, you go into places and people tell us that they look forward to this Eid because it's the first time in an entire year that they get to eat meat.
Wow.
A very sad story, if I may just digress a bit before going on to the where we want to take the project, is the team that returned, because we send teams across the region to ensure that the mandate is fulfilled. And the team in Mozambique indicated that, within 5 minutes of them getting to a distribution point, close to 1,000 people will assemble.
Sure.
So they said they just see the trucks coming, and it's like, people run for this meat. And, it was so heart-wrenching because it reminds me of how and forgive my my analogy, but if you throw seeds to birds, they come and they flock for the seeds because they are dependent
Correct.
on man to feed them. Now, are we not? I mean, the stark disproportionalities that we find within our societies, where human beings have to rush to get meat.
Yeah.
I think we need to consider a mind shift of how we're going to take our community from a handout community into a self-empowered community.
Absolutely.
So that's the first aim that we like to build onto a project like this. That yes, the Qurbani is a necessity. It's part of our ibadah. It's a ritual. It's part of the Eid al-Adha celebration. But at the same time, we need to ensure that we take a percentage of those communities and make them self-reliant down the line. So that's one of the most important key factors. The second one is to ensure that we improve our operation for next year.
Inshallah.
And we extend the operation, and inshallah, we impact more people in the process.
Inshallah. It's so wonderful to hear organizations like yourself making a dent in what is regarded as in some parts of the world, hunger season, especially in Mozambique. We do know that they go to seasons where, unfortunately, they do rely on humanitarian aid to fulfill and assist where possible as well. I know Awqaf is always busy with various campaigns, projects. What's coming up next?
There's quite a lot coming up next. So, look, we've got our ongoing campaigns that we run. For example, our education, our maths and science programs. We've got our cataract projects that gets done on a monthly basis, where we provide free cataract surgeries. And then there are also the skills development training and a few other campaigns that is on the go. Too many to mention. The listeners and the viewers may go to our website to check out and join us in sharing the care.
Yeah. This is what I was very interested in and very pleased to hear about, sharing the care type of thing. And I would imagine partnering with smaller organizations who are not by the full means to provide assistance and nourishment where possible. That's also an amanat, I would imagine, to a large extent.
No, but that's exactly what the Awqaf, the Awqaf South Africa model is about. So we've got the capital fund, and the returns of the investment we use to capacitate
Brilliant.
people that's working on the ground.
Brilliant. I think I like that, because in the same way you're empowering
Sure.
others to grow their organizations. For those that would like to come on board on some of your various projects, what is the immediate need and maybe assistance that you require or can ask the community to assist right now?
So I think that one of the most important aspects of this whole mission of Awqaf and the Waqf mission is to realign people's thinking as to how we spend our donations, how we spend our sadaqah that we give.
Right.
It's not our model. The Waqf model is a model that was introduced by the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and therefore it's a tried and tested model. It's something that is a prophetically, divinely inspired model, and we would like to get that message across to the wider communities to ensure that as Awqaf South Africa is an institution that thrives on self-reliance, so too should all of our other institutions be capacitated through the system of Waqf in order to create their own self-reliance. And
well said. I like that. CEO of Awqaf, Mickaeel Collier, it's always great catching up. Jazakallah for all that you do in our community, and may all your future projects grow from strength to strength, inshallah.
Jazakallah, thank you for having us.
My pleasure. And that's the first part of Hilaal Live. After the break, we continue with another organization as well. Thanks for watching us on Channel 347.